welcome to the Live from the Pen podcast, hosted by Smoke D, who was featured on UGK's Riding Dirty album. This ain't just a podcast, it's a movement. Live from the Pen is where the unheard get heard, where the forgotten get remembered, and where change starts with a conversation. We bring you stories from behind the walls, stories of pain, purpose, progress, and power. We're talking about men and women fighting to rebuild their lives, families trying to hold it together, and communities pushing for something better. This is an interactive prison reform platform, a place where you'll hear real voices, see real growth, and feel what redemption truly sounds like. No filters, no fake narratives. Just raw truth and the realities of incarceration, transformation, and survival. We're breaking the silence, we're breaking the stigma, and we're building bridges from the cell block to society. So tap in, stay locked with us, and be part of the change. Because when we say live from the pen, we mean living proof that progress is possible, that redemption is real, and that every voice, no matter where it's coming from, deserves to be heard. For more Trill content, hit us up at trilllife7613.com and join the Trill Life community, where truth, unity, and progress always stay true. Now reporting live from the pen, your host.
Yeah. Once again, like before, live from the streets of Jacktown, aka Jackistan. Once again, like before, it's another episode of Live from the Pen. I'm your boy Smoke D, representing Trill Life, representing UGK for life. And again, we had to have this brother back because he has a broad range of information. We're still trying to get Spoonie on. He's in Africa because there's some things going on in this broader than Jackson, but affects Jackson directly. Louisiana, all the southern states directly. So without further ado, we got the good brother Charlie Braxton on deck again.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for having me for the second time. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Well, you know, I don't know if we agreed upon it, but you know, I would like for you to be a continuing correspondent to this situation because of your world mind, you know, and the things that you study, because they are beyond here. Some people here may get it, but you know, we need to know what's going on abroad, you know, worldwide, because there are a lot of things that's going on that, you know, I know I didn't know about. I can't speak for other people, but that are affecting us directly, even in Africa. And so here, especially with the bills and whatnot, I hope we can get Spoonie on here. But yeah, man, about these bills that they've been passing since the president got in office, you know, it's a wide range.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, brother. I was leading up to you speaking.
I mean, if you've been following or if you've read anything about the Project 2025, you knew that this was coming. They've been trying to dismantle the Voting Rights Act actively. The Republicans have been trying to weaken it since probably since Trump first got in office. One of the things that I think we don't realize is a lot of these bills that are being passed, like the voter ID and those bills are universal in what the Republicans and what the MAGA Republicans and what more so Project 2025, which is the Heritage Foundation's document. What they decided to do is, if we can't get the national legislation passed through, what we can do is we can take the state legislators and we can give them the bill. Unless ALEC is the American Legislature Exchange Commission. And what they do is they recruit right-wing state senators, right-wing congressmen or representatives, and they give them bills. They write the bills for them.
Right. So, Charlie, let me. I want to, brother, if you, brother JB in there, if you can get Spoonie on the line, send him that email again. I want to put the word for the day up before we continue. I always like to skip it. The word for the day is peevish. Peevish. That means that you're dealing with someone that's all always in a bad mood, or they're easily angered, peevish. Peevish. That's the word for the day. Charlie,
Yes,
I
sir.
want to ask you to break it down. When they did the wow,
Okay.
when they did the thing with the
Voting Rights
consent-
Act. I
voting
know
rights,
I take a long way around because
but
I try to
yeah,
give people
I
a
want to know things like they can actually now put whites only up in restaurants.
okay. All right. Hold on. Let me. We're gonna get there, but be patient with me. Let me take the long way so I can explain to you about the voting rights bill. All right.
Yes, sir.
So here's what they did. They started with the voter ID bill.
Mhm.
That became, different states. Mississippi adopted it. That was designed to shave off a certain amount of voters, right?
Mhm.
And then what you have with this Louisiana case, Louisiana versus Calise, I believe. I think it's a French name. So I took French in college, but I was lousy at it, even though I passed it. But that bill was, they had drawn up a state district, voting district that excluded a lot of Democrats, especially Black Democrats. So they were sued, and circuit court said, hey, you guys did that. You know it was wrong. You got to redraw that map.
Right.
So they redrew the map where Louisiana, instead of having one Democrat in Black legislature, they'd have two. They took that case to the Supreme Court.
Mhm.
Normally, it would have taken the Supreme Court a little while to get to it. So we would have had, under normal circumstances, probably a midterm before they even got to it.
Put that number
But
up on the screen.
they fast tracked it. They fast tracked the case, and they fast tracked the decision. So what they did was they eliminated what's known as Section 2
Right.
in the voting rights bill. Now, remember, the last time they did it, they had weakened it considerably. But Section 2 says you have the prove to the courts now. It used to be you could just say, hey, this is wrong. It discriminates against Black voters. Here's the results. You look at the results. Yes, it does redraw the maps. Now you have to prove that they actually intended to lock us out of the voting districts that they've drawn.
In essence, we have went back. From what I'm hearing from the news, we went back to the Jim Crow era, right?
Basically, yes, we have. We went back to the point where, and let me refine it, because some Republicans will fire back and say, well, in the Jim Crow era, you couldn't vote at all. You can still vote. But what they did was they drew the districts in such a way that they diluted the Black voting strength.
Oh, so there ain't no more. There's no more
There's
swing.
no more stronghold, Democratic strongholds, or they don't have to be. We haven't redrawn our maps yet. But
Brother,
Benny Thompson.
hold on one second. Can you put the call-in number in and if you can, send Spoonie that email again?
Okay. So let's take, for instance, right now, the state of Tennessee, because they've just passed theirs. Our governor has called for a special legislation within 21 days to redraw the maps.
Well, wait
right?
a minute. Didn't they draw the map currently in the first place? The ones that's already there, we didn't draw.
Yeah, the ones that the state legislatures always draw the maps. That's why it's important for you to vote for your state legislators.
1 second,
because
confused. So how can you accuse us of drawing some state lines that you did? They say it's gerrymandering, is it? But
okay, all right.
They drew the lines. We didn't draw those lines.
No. They didn't accuse. What they're saying is now, here's what they're trying to say, Smoke. They're saying because they want a race neutral. That's this whole thing about anti-DEI and all of this. All of this stuff ties together. It's the same rhetoric. They're saying we want race neutral districts. We don't want a district that heavily favors a black candidate. So what we'll do is, instead of stopping you from voting the way we used to do it back in the Jim Crow days, the law says I can't do that. But now the courts are saying, but you can draw the lines, the voting districts, in such a way where, let's say I'll take Jackson, for instance, right? Jackson and the Delta are predominantly black, right? That's the district that Benny Thompson has. What they'll probably do when they redraw it this time is slice that district up, and maybe into 3 or 4 different parts, and add those 4 parts into heavily Republican districts.
So the attempt is to get all black representation out of politics, period. Is that it?
Basically, that's the mission. Yeah, that's the mission in a nutshell.
We don't have anybody anywhere to represent us. And then, like I said, it just seems to be an attack. I was looking at some stuff today, man, and I think that it was 2023. They from in the last 5 years, they've killed, the police. The police have killed 5,000 people, 5,000 black people. Only 3% of them got charged. Only 1% went to jail, and that's 3.5 times murder a day. The only day that they didn't, the only year that I think they murdered everybody, 360. It was a week that they went without murder. They killed 3.5 black people every day. This is a bad thing, and it's consistent. Like, you look at the housing situation, you look at the job situation, and I don't know nothing about. I'm just looking at what I see, what I read on the news. I don't know if it's all propaganda, but like, I'm trying to figure out what we can do. Like right now, do we need to have an exodus? Do we need a passport? Do we need to go? Because it seems like you're fighting an unwinnable fight. Because I mean, all of the stuff that happened. The dogs getting bit of the march and Martin Luther King, his dream is a nightmare now, right?
Yeah, well, here's what I would say. As a Pan-Africanist, if you can afford to get up and leave, hey, do so. But realistically, all of us can. Hell, I can't afford to do that. I can't take my entire family to Africa. I can't afford it.
So what
no. Hold on. Hear me out, Smoke. Let me talk. What I'm saying to you is, remember the Malcolm X's plan? Malcolm X had a plan where he was talking to, and he was asking those leaders, listen, when we take the United States before the World Court, we're going to do it on a basis of human rights, and we want you to vote in our favor. We want you to speak up for us. And they had agreed to do it, but guess what happened to Malcolm X?
What's that?
He got assassinated.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. But listen. Now you could say, based on what Trump is doing, United Nations has basically no pull, because they're not ignoring the United Nations. The United Nations told them, look, Israel is committing genocide. The World Court told them that. Did it stop the United States from helping Israel?
And they just ignored it?
They ignored it. But what they can ignore is this. Africa is the richest country in the world. It has gold, magnesium, uranium, all kinds of things. These countries have things that the United States needs. If they were to stay,
do you feel trapped here? Do you feel trapped in here?
I mean, Smoke, I'm a black man in America. What do you think? What do you think? I mean,
I feel
it's
like that too, but I just had to be sure, man. Like, in all of your vast knowledge of the workings and the things going on,
but let me say this, because as a student of history, I know that our people are resilient and we resist and we will figure out a way. This this is white supremacy's last stand.
Hmm.
They know that they can't hold on. Smoke
Right.
20, 45, they will be a minority. And all of the things you're seeing that they're putting in place now is so that they can effectively create an apartheid state again in America.
Hmm.
That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah. I just don't, when Dev come, the Jim Crow show and the Black Panther Party look the same. That's what I know. Like, you can't, some things are beyond duality, like the spirit of what it is. And like, it seems as though now, I mean, the change that we've been looking for is going to come, but it ain't the change that we're thinking. We need to, I feel like we need to be made uncomfortable because we've been in a comfortable prison for a minute there. You know,
Well,
I'm
I
thrilled
can,
about the change because, and I'm gonna say, I'm thrilled about the change because either way, we're gonna come together like we spoke about earlier. It's about force or by choice. Now it's seemingly to be by force because we've had enough time to make a choice, to come together. And so it's what it is. I know that one thing's for sure, it'll be different.
well, I believe that Black people, one thing about us, history teaches us, whenever we put under a tremendous amount of pressure, we come together and we resist. We
So
come together and we resist.
this is
So,
giving birth to something.
but
This is
I do want to say this about the Black Panther Party. I would not compare them to Uncle Sam, Uncle Tom. I think that they,
it's not comparing to, it's like with the understanding, and I'm sorry that I came across that way. It's with the understanding that I forget who said this. A person is not a fool to hold on. A person is a fool to try to hold on to something that they can't keep in order to
oh,
miss
I
out
see
on
what I think I see what you're saying. I think
something.
you're saying that we need a new organization.
Gain something real that they could never lose. It's like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a dreamer, Charlie, but it seems like we're fighting an invisible war with silent weapons, and we don't know what the war or the weapon look like. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, but the thing is, they're broadcasting what they're doing. Smoke. It's not like they're hiding it. They haven't been hiding it. The problem is, maybe not enough of us are aware of it to the point that we have to. For instance, during the elections of 2024, during that election, I wrote a number of articles on Medium outlining what would happen to us if Trump got in office. Trump was on the campaign trail basically saying he was going to, in so many words, eliminate democracy.
Yeah, I mean,
And he made no bones about how he felt about people of color.
well, I mean, since he's been in office, like it seems as though like everybody that has any power in politics, he's fired them all. And it's trickling down. There are 2 or 3 states where they're doing this relining, like you say.
Yeah, this relining.
Make
The
all
one in,
of America, huh?
yeah,
Go ahead. I'm
the
sorry.
one in Mississippi is directly designed to get rid of Benny Thompson. You know why?
Why?
Who resided over the January 6th hearings that could have potentially put Trump in jail?
I see now.
Who
Yeah.
who you see what I'm saying? Who was responsible for putting all those January 6ers in jail? Partly responsible. Benny Thompson. I mean, say you can say what
So do you think this is a direct assault on black people?
Oh, of course.
But
Of
everything
course.
they're doing from the housing, like they don't have to hire you based on
All of
nothing.
this is an assault, because think about this, Smoke.
Mm,
Black people have more credentials and are more educated and more technically sound than any other generation of Black people.
mm,
When you see the shirt that says "I am my ancestors' wildest dream,"
mm.
for a lot of us that is true. My grandmother was born, my great grandmother rather, Bonnie Bell Christopher, may her soul rest in peace, was born in 1884. Her
Right.
mother was a slave.
Mm.
My grandmother couldn't read nor write.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, we've come a long way. We've evolved a lot. And it seems like, you know, everybody's so smart but doing the dumbest thing, you
You know
know.
what the problem is with that? What's killing us now, Smoke?
Uh,
It's in your hand, or sitting next to you, not too far.
all
That
this
that
dumb smartphone.
them dumb phones. Well, the smartphones are making you dumb, so I guess they are smart because they're doing their job.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
I mean, there's nothing wrong with entertainment. Don't get me wrong. I like entertainment, but at the same time, you got to do some learning. I
yeah,
mean, to me, any piece of technology can be a double-edged sword.
right. I'm just the type of person to believe that you should never try to influence the world from the internet. You should influence the internet from the world, which means to get out and be active. Of course, you know, this is the day of content and social media, and it helps you get your message out somewhat on a broader level. But it just seems like it's been too much talking. We've just been
Yeah.
being human beings as black folks, and not enough humans doing. And so, I mean, it's an easy fix. It's just communicating, coming together. It's simple to me. Just agree for once. And our children gonna need us to agree. Things that are coming for us, we don't prepare for them. I mean, the human race will continue on. We as a people, as a black people, we don't perish. We don't go on and wake up. We really wake up and learn how to communicate and then express some love or some kind of growth. Even, you know, other they don't even like each other, but they gonna still spend with each other. They may have a bad product. They're not gonna go and get nobody else's product. They're gonna get the product that's bad and help them get it good and sell it. You know?
Well, like I said, again, history has taught me from studying my studies of history is that whenever there's a plight,
Mm,
whenever there's a major crisis with Black people,
mm.
we come together.
Well, it's definitely a major crisis now because
Oh,
I mean,
and we gonna come together, but the crisis ain't even hit us yet, Smoke. Wait till
yeah,
next year. If this war drags on, prices gonna be astronomical, bro. Look at gas.
you're gonna have to figure out how to grow us some food. We're gonna have to go back, and it's hard to unlearn. You have to unlearn, and then you don't relearn. You unlearn and learn something new. And what we have to learn new is really old.
Oh yeah, but
Yeah.
you know what I'm really concerned about is what as far as for Jackson, I'm
Um,
concerned about this water situation, brother.
well, I
I,
agree, brother, because
I'm and I'm gonna tell you why I'm concerned. Um, everybody talks about, oh man, our kids are so violent. Oh, these kids in Jackson are this, that, and the other.
mhm,
Nobody talks about. Has anybody done a study on the amount of lead that's in the water?
I believe they have, and I mean, riding, walking, or talking. Not only just the lead, all the other stuff. I mean, they got the high water bill prices, and for a long time, and even up until now, we've had water that we can't even drink. You know,
That's a problem if we don't get
Ooh,
it fixed.
foliant water, needed water to drink, and couldn't even get it. So, I
But
mean, these kind of
but think about it now, Smoke. We're not in control. We got money to fix it. We're not in control of the money.
man,
We
they
got we got we're not even in control based on what I've been able to read. We're not even in control of the
Well,
water
this is like when you spoke
department
with
anymore.
2% sales tax. You know what I mean? We couldn't even tax ourselves to tax ourselves to build our own thing, and somebody else has control of it. You know?
This is about, listen, Jackson is being deprived of tax money, but Jackson is also making a lot of people who don't look like you and I rich.
Well, I mean,
They want they
yeah, and I don't, like I said, I'm coming into this, you got to see things for what they are, and I'm not talking about, every black or white person, it's just like, but for us, we still black, even though you have great white people out there that, I know a lot of them, but they're still white and we still black, so the ones that are racist or whatever, they don't have to worry about them. We do. You see? Dogs take care of dogs. And in this situation, white people have always been able to take care of themselves by way of us, but we ain't been able to take care of nobody, including ourselves. Our children are everywhere. It's like I ain't never seen this magnitude of nonsense going on. I'm not a long-lived person or anything, but I think that if you look at it, you can see where the battle is already won. Like there are things that have been said at these times that are here. This looks biblical to me, and so everything comes to an end. This is coming to an end. Something is this is giving birth to something.
Well, I mean, I think the world order, speaking on a global scale, America as an empire is dying. Nobody wants to admit that. Nobody wants to face that fact.
And they have the 250th anniversary coming up, don't they?
Yeah, but I mean, think about it.
How long most empires last about that long?
Most modern empires, the British Empire, the French when they're the colonial empire. I mean, we can go down the list. They didn't last past the 250 mark. They didn't.
Wow.
And it seems to me the people who are running this country, the wealthy, they know it, something's fixing to crash. They know it. And they're just trying to grab as much of our tax dollars and other forms of money as they can before we crash.
Right. Well,
ask yourself, why does Trump think it's so important to build a ballroom? It's not the ballroom he's concerned about. It's the bunker he's trying to build under the ballroom.
Wow.
You look at most rich people around the world, the billionaires, the real rich people, they have bunkers.
How was this able to go on? Like with him, from what the media say, I don't know anything about it.
The media is feckless, Smoke. Mainstream legacy media is feckless. They're controlled by the same people who control the politicians. Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post. I subscribe to the Washington Post, but it's not the newspaper I used to read when I was in college. The New York Times is not that.
So CNN,
nowadays you can't tell CNN from Fox News damn near.
It's the same punchline. I've seen that before. They run it through all the same message through all the media outlets all over America.
That's because they don't want Americans to know what's going on. Do yourself a favor while it still functions. Go to like Al Jazeera English or the French, some of the French newspapers or French publications, or the British BBC.
Somewhere across the pond.
not BBC America, but the BBC, the British thing, and you'll look at what they're saying, and then you can go turn on an American ABC, NBC, CNN, whatever, and it's two totally different stories.
Yeah, I mean,
nobody's telling us right now Israel's getting pounded.
right.
Tel Aviv, there are parts of Tel Aviv that look like a war zone, like a real war zone.
Right. Yeah,
And as much as Trump wants us to think, we're not winning this war because we have not. The objective of winning a war is, I set an objective. Trump said his objective was regime change. That was his objective, right?
But I mean,
so he kills the Ayatollah, and they replace him with his son, who's even a harder person than the Ayatollah. He ain't backing down.
Let me ask you this here, man. And I don't know if this is true or not. Like I said, I'm not big on that, but is it true that during the time of war that a president can't be impeached?
From what I understand, the president can declare what is called a state of emergency, and he can suspend the Constitution. I doubt that's going to happen now with Trump. J.D. Vance might be another story. Right. Trump, I mean, his mental faculties are declining rapidly. So more than likely what they're trying to do, this is me theorizing here. I don't have any concrete evidence, but I'm thinking, look, based on what they're doing, they're trying to hold out till the midterms. And if they wound up controlling, either way, if they don't control Congress, if they impeach Trump, J.D. Vance gets in. And J.D. Vance, in my opinion, is probably more dangerous than Trump. And I'll say that because he's smarter than Trump.
Well, who is he, the vice president? Who is he?
He's a vice president. And the people that backed him are the people that own Peloton and the they call them the PayPal Mafia, those guys. Those guys are basically techno-fascists. And if they get in power, if they get really get things together the way they want, now you want to go biblical. Oh, you talking about Mark of the Beast. I try not to get too religious, but they want to institute what the Chinese have, where cameras are all over the place and they control your bank.
And your house, that shit, yeah. China, if you mess up, they shut you down.
Yeah, I'll probably be the first they shut, among the first they shut down.
You don't have a picture on the walls looking right, they're gonna do. So yeah, that's dictatorship, yes.
That's what that's the goal.
To be
that is the goal. That's clearly the goal.
That's what it is, because this move that they made with the civil rights thing, it makes America 99.9% a red state everywhere.
Well, that's the goal. I have a quote from in my new article that's hopefully comes out this Friday, or if not this Friday, Saturday, no later than Sunday. I usually post them on Sunday. But I have a quote from a Tennessee legislator who said this will be the first time the state of Tennessee will be able to put an all Republican Congress, batch of congressmen without no Democrats. He said, essentially, we're going to send all Republicans to the state, not state, to the national legislature.
Well, I'm telling you, man, you hit me with something. I'm like, my mind is going in so many different places. I wish I had Spoonie on here because, like I said, I'm not a politician. I just, I either know issue is or issue ain't my baby. It's just right or wrong. and it's just cut and draw like that. But I'm not. It's a lot that I don't understand. It's a lot that I do, and so when you're in situations like this, the Word of God says always seek wise counsel. That's what I consider you as because I don't. He who knows he knows will never know, and he who knows that he don't know knows God. And that's all I got. And so I want to make moves and stuff. I don't understand a lot of this stuff. Some of it I do, and just trying to break it down in a basic sense of what it is.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
as I was saying to you, it's very important that people who live in this country, who care about their community, care
Mhm,
about their family, care about their extended family,
mhm.
care about the ideal of democracy, because the United States has never been a true democracy. It's been a republic, a democratic republic.
So
You know,
I'm
where we,
gonna study
where,
like the stuff that you're saying. I'm grabbing on the key points, key words, because like I want to incorporate, you know, everything into whatever it takes to help to understand you better, to understand Spoonio better, for all of us to understand each other better, not just us three, but as a whole, to get a grip on doing some real work.
yeah.
You know,
Well, I
real.
think now we're gonna have to get together, Smoke. We're gonna have one of the things that people who are listening to me, Kwame Ture, who was one of my mentors, one of the things he always used to say, you don't have to join my organization, but you should join an organization.
Or start your own. Or
Or if you
something.
don't like, start your own.
So yeah, man,
You
that's how
know,
you gotta be. You gotta be the type of person to don't want to do nothing. I don't want to do nothing with something that makes sense.
right.
But Charlie, I ain't gonna hold you, brother. I appreciate you. Maybe we'll get spoon on. I just got back from New York. We had an illustrious time going out to Houston. God willing, August the 1st to do some
Okay.
stuff at the 30th anniversary of the Riding Dirty album.
Oh
I
wow.
don't know. I gotta start promoting myself. They say they want to hear a lot of penitentiary stories, man, but I'm not like the glorifying thing. It ain't nothing glorifying about prison, but I'm getting more to it, man, because
Well, I think if kids could hear what it's like, really like, not what the rappers are telling them, not, to me, there's nobody telling you that the prison industrial complex is a new form of slavery.
right.
Nobody's
They
talking
don't, they
about how
don't tell you that the same people that own the prisons own the record label. They don't tell
on
you.
they don't tell you that.
Yeah, they
No,
don't. They don't tell
I
you.
worked in the music industry, and I mean it took me a while to figure out why
Yeah,
is it that groups like Public Enemy and Poor Righteous Teachers and all these X Clan, I used to love X Clan.
right.
Why groups like that aren't
Well,
being pushed?
I mean, it was a part of the systemic things that they have going on, like you said, with the media. If the
Yeah, I
music,
mean,
I'm not sure if Adolf Hitler said it. He said someone said, give me your children, let me play their music, and I can control them. I can control the nation. Let me play your children music, and I can control the nation." Something to that effect.
I
But
don't know if
music
they said that,
has a way
but
of getting down in you, and you can't stop it.
oh, it's
Right?
a major propaganda tool. That's why
So the power
uh
in the word, yeah.
yeah, that's why the record industry had to take over hip hop. Remember, hip hop when we first started, when it first came out, it was about at best partying. Then
Uh-huh.
when it got political,
Yeah.
oh, the majors came in after the Rodney King riots. Smoke this, you can trace this now. Go
Mm-hmm.
back and watch it. After the Rodney King riots,
Mm-hmm.
I noticed as a hip hop journalist that pro black political rappers started getting less and less record deals, less and less promotion, and gangster rappers were being pushed to the forefront.
Didn't they have a meeting somewhere and invited certain?
Allegedly, there was a meeting.
Mhm.
Whether or not it's a real meeting, I believe it was. If it wasn't, all you got to do is look at the timeline that the guy who said he was at that meeting and look at what happened after he said they told him to sign these rappers. There was an explosion of it. And Smoke, it's getting worse. The rap music now is getting worse and worse than when I used to work in that industry.
Well, I think now though, like if you look at the way, you know, guys that you speak of like Public Enemy or like, you know, even later, you know, later in the game as Juvenile, they're resurfacing now because what I know about the music as far as having foresight to see where it's going, there's a whole generation of people out there that love hip hop, that love rap, and they don't have the music in place that they want to listen to. The generation is too far ahead to listen to killing and shooting and stuff and all the stuff that they've been through, you know, and so there's a big space and a big gap now.
Yeah,
I
agree. There is a group to see some of these older veterans come back.
Mm-hmm.
Is definitely worth, and they should come back to teach these younger cats how it's done.
Yeah, you know,
I think that, you know, and then too, they're like rock music. Rock music, you never hear rock musicians like the Rolling Stones, as old as they are, Smoke. If they put out a record and do a tour, they'll fill stadiums.
Yeah.
Nobody says Mick Jagger's washed up, he's too old, he shouldn't be making music.
Well, I mean, yeah, and that's the difference. They put age limits on, you know, rap music or whatever, but like for me, I never looked at it as no rap. I when I do music, it's a message being brought, like from my experience, or I can say something, you know, whatever. I want you to be able. And there's a lot of guys out there, and you know, artists out there like me, so to speak, that want you to leave with something that can stay with you, something that can, you know, teach you, help you conceptualize a different way of thinking if it's just for that one particular instance, you know?
Yeah.
I think that means more than just, you know, because like I said, I've experienced the gangster rap and all of that stuff there. I was proficient in it in my day. And all it did was bring me trouble. All it did was bring me, I was inviting people in. You know,
well, I mean, you have to listen. My grandmother told me a long time ago, long before I got into music, and my mother reiterated it when I got into the music business. My grandmother used to say, you know, music business is nothing but the devil's den.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna get in the go, first rule when dealing with the devil is don't. That's what my grandmother also taught me.
Indeed. Even the devil can sign a contract, huh?
Yeah, no, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. I had a record executive actually tell me, you know, you have too much integrity, man.
Yeah, that's what the FBI agents told me when they arrested me, Charlie. They say you too real for the game.
Yeah, you have too much integrity.
I told God on Jesus, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like I said, the time coming to a close. That's why I didn't give no commercials. I wanted to shoot straight, Jake. We still building the plane in the air. You know, still moving around broader. We're gonna get this podcast to another level here soon. We got some new AI coming in. We got old brother Charlie. You know, if he's willing to be a continuing correspondent along with Spoonio, talk about issues that's much broader than here. Again, we try to get Spoonio again.
Yeah, because I definitely want to hear what's going on.
Yeah, you know, so
we
have a correspondent that's in Africa that's actually from this area, from the Macomb area. But, you know, we need information. We need information. We need pertinent information as it pertains to some things that we can do to help us help ourselves. You understand? Because believe it or not, It's not what you believe, it's what you know. There's a
Mhm.
difference. See, you know,
Mhm.
we're gonna have to do something. I don't know particularly what that something is or what it looks like, but there's something wrong, and I don't have all the answers. And like I said, you know, I don't know anything. I just know God. You know, I don't really want to be around nobody that think they know, child, because I know they don't. Brother, on that note, I love you. I appreciate you.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you too. Thank you for having me on.
We're gonna
I
check.
know I talk a lot. It's a lot of stuff I'll be trying to get people to understand the context, but I go over all over the place. So
Yeah, we'll get a better translation. You know, as this time goes. Like I say, I enjoy having you. We're gonna keep doing this stuff. I have to go, you know, watch the news or something to see how to enter the methodology of Operation Go, because we want to build this into something bigger
but
than what it is. You know, and see.
before I go, the people who are watching this need to call your state legislators.
Mm,
Call them and tell them that you are opposed to them redrawing those maps where they dilute uh Democratic, because if you say black, they'll be like, oh, Democratic voting strength.
right.
Tell them you do not want them to crack and pack uh our votes in other districts where we cannot win,
Right.
because they're coming after Benny Thompson. Trust me.
Indeed.
And it doesn't look good for him right now. Tate Reeves is, more, well, Tate didn't say it. I think it was one of those legislatures more or less said, "Oh, we gonna get rid of him." In no uncertain words, they said they're gonna get rid of him.
For sure. You heard that?
And
Contact your state legislator.
yeah, and Benny's been the one who's really leading, one of those guys who's fighting Trump. They're outnumbered, but they're at least speaking out.
Right.
You know, that's my, hey, I got a pen. I'm gonna use it till I can't swing it no more, brother.
Indeed, brother. Well, man, this has been a wonderful situation, brother. I thank you, you know, for coming on again and you know, sharing. Um, I made it to my goal was to make it to this show so I can kind of get some rest and decompress a little bit because I've been moving a lot. But man, I love you. Love, peace, and blessings to you,
Love you
brother.
too, Smoke. Hang in there, brother.
Yeah, ain't no doubt, man. And this has been another episode of Live from the Pen. And if you want to find me on any social media, get some history about me, because we're gonna start telling the story, you know, about, you know, the whole UGK situation, my story. We're gonna start just saying things that people want to hear. I just don't like talking about myself too much. Still living history. But anyway, yeah, Google me, Google Smoke Deal UGK. That'll bring up all the social media things. We're getting the website together. We got new merchandise coming in. A lot of things that we're doing, God willing, we'll push through. But y'all tune in next time, man. This has been another episode of Live from the Pen. It's your boy, Smoke D. Y'all stay up.
Peace.
Peace.